Good morning. Welcome to Bars and Bells. My name is Ian.
I'm Lauren.
And this is the morning routine. Lauren's morning routine, well, tell them about it. Lauren, what have you been up to today?
I woke up, I went for a little run, 3K, and now I'm here. And I'm trying not to continue sweating this entire time.
So Lauren will be restoring with these movements, and maybe we are preparing for the rest of today. So with your coffee in hand, maybe place it off to the side, a stance that's comfortable for you now, and a hand belly and the hand chest. For the first time with the breathing exercises today, we'll be looking to make room. So with closed lips, breathe in through the nose and a 4-second breath into the belly. Feel that belly press against the hand on the inhale and pull away or towards the spine on the exhale. Repeat twice more down low. Build awareness with your breath. In with control. Focus on that exhale. And one more time, breath in. Let's just hold that full for a second. And then exhale, pulling to spine. Now repeat that same effort in the chest. So a 4-second breath in. And then slow exhale. The belly button is pulled towards the spine, filling the lungs in through the chest here. Breath in. Exhale. And for that final breath for this round, a big chest breath in for 4 seconds. Hold full for 4, and then a slow exhale. Shake it out. Locally, it's that summertime vibe here, and even though I don't go to the theme park, let's take the body through the rides. At the head neck, let's slowly start. Yeah, ooh, what one's that one?
The roller coaster.
That's like the two-dude roller coaster. I like it. So we're starting at the head neck here, and we'll call this our Ferris wheel, as we'll go sliding towards one side. Here I choose my right. And then I'll pull my chin in and down and slide to the other side. Then we'll go up and around the top, pull the chin down, and in 1 or 2 more revolutions here, up and over, maybe press your feet into the floor. Squeeze your butt cheeks, return center, and then switch directions. Here I'll go to the right, and then up and over the top, pulling down. Having big ranges of movement is not important here, but imagining at first, and then lightly manipulating that head neck joint to move in our Ferris wheel circle. I'll change my stance to wider feet, place my hands on my abs and my rib cage here. Now, that same effort through the ribs as I slide to one side, pull the rib cage onto the hips. Now we're at the other side, and up and over in the absence of the shrug. So keep the shoulders low, and 1 or 2 more circles as you go, pressing into the floor, squeezing your butt cheeks and pulling up those kneecaps, all aims to isolate this through the T-spine rib cage. Then we'll slide the other side now, up and over without shrugging, and then pull that rib cage onto the hips with those abdominals, and last revolution in this way. Finish in center, shake it out, dismount from that ride, and let's play with the breath one more time. 1 hand belly, 1 hand chest. Now take a big belly breath in, 4 seconds, fill it full, expand. Then exhale, pulling the belly to spine now. Maintain the belly to spine and breathe in for 4 seconds, increasing the tension or the pressure through the abdomen, and exhale. On your own now, breath in, the belly button stays tight, and we're trying to fill up all those amazing side and back spaces to support the spine. Exhale. And one last time, that belly's the spine. Big breaths in. Fill up the bottom with the help of that diaphragm. Exhale. There's one more theme park ride for me here. For that, I'll open up my stance again. And this one will go to the merry-go-round. So I'll press my head forward like that awkward Tex-Mex posture, and then circling around, drawing a clock or that merry-go-round shape on the ground. I'm squeezing the bum, trying not to move anything other than that head neck joint there. This will be my last revolution. I'll return to center, and then I'll switch directions here. So here I am going counterclockwise. Big movements are not important here. However, gently sliding and gliding and manipulating at the neck to improve strength and decrease some pain. That's about it for the theme park here. So we'll toss it over to Lauren to roots at the feet.
Nice. We'll get our feet warmed up. You could have a balance aid at your side or just your body in space. Let's gently press through the floor to the balls of the feet right now. Right as you're on this first side here, I want you to think about that knee pointing forward, still tall on the other side. And let's put some weight down in through that demi point. So drive that down and then keep driving down, but now push the heel into the floor so you extend the hip and the knee. Repeat on the other side. Peel the heel off the floor. Once you get there, knee is square forward, and then push some weight into that balanced foot. And then drive the heel down, extend the hip. Let's repeat again. Peel the heel up off the floor. Let's push some weight down, and now use the muscles of the toes to get yourself to that full point. Stay there for a second, now pushing weight through the tops of those toes, and then back down through the balls of the feet, and the heel will connect. Other side, heel lifts, push some weight down, but then use the toes to point. Now through the top of those toes a little bit, and then down through the demi point, and heel connects. Let's do that one more time. Peel through the ball of the foot. Use the toes to point. Now as allowed, roll over those toes. As you've rolled over those toes, the ankle is still in line with the knee. Don't let it wing out to the side. Now pull it back through to points, back through the demi, and again, crush the pop can under your heel as you push it down. Other side, demi point, use the toes to point. Then roll over the toes. Keep the ankle on straight as you go back to the toe point, and then down through the demi point, and again, crush that pop can down as you extend the hip and straighten the knee. From here, let's just press our knees towards over our toes, keeping our shoulders stacked over our hips. And now shift weight to one side, and then shift weight to the other side. Come back to center, push to extend your hips through, and keep growing tall to find your first balance up here. Holding kneecaps up, butts are squeezed, and then slowly descending, heels come down, knees stay straight. Let's do that, but in reverse. Let's go up again, find that balance. This time, push the knees over the toes and try to stay on those toes. And again, just like we did before, could you shift your weight maybe to your right and shift your weight to your left? And then come back to center, push the heels down and press through to tall. We'll shake that out. Let's go through some quick bend hip shapes and then we'll get to the floor. I would recommend you have your balance aid now. Don't make this about balance, make this about the hips. Stand tall in that inside leg. Let's bend the outside. I weeded the garden yesterday. Well, weeded. Oh my goodness. Anyway, my hamstrings. Bending the outside leg. Right now, try to get your heel as close to your bum as you can, and let's just hold this. Stay tucked under, but keep trying to reach back and connect the heel to bum for 3, 2. Now keep that connection, but pull the knee through to hip flexion. As you come through to hip flexion, the belt line still stays level, and the heel is close to the hip. Hold. 3, 2. Now keep that tight and send the knee to the side. As you send the knees to the side, still keep thinking about pushing the hip forward, tall in the inside leg, belt line level. Use that butt cheek to keep the leg out there. Hold. Bring it back to center. Keep it bent as you brush it back. Hold for one more second, and then gently extend and straighten the leg underneath. And shake it out. Whew. Let's switch sides. Let's switch, yeah. Nice. Same thing, other side. Here we go, prepare. Oh. Bend the knee, heel towards the bum. Gently tuck under, but again, keep this knee bent and reach towards the wall behind you. Don't arch your low back. We're reaching with that hip. For 3, 2, keep the knee bent, pull it through to hip flexion. Again, tight underneath your body, other leg nice and straight and strong. Keeping the tailbone long as to not tuck under that low back. Now, send the leg to the side. Hips push forward, leg opens up. Feel the butt cheek and the level hips. Holding for 3, 2, bringing it back to center. Brushing through. Hold that for a second. And then gently extend and straighten that leg. Nice. And shake it out. Whew.
Those shakes. Feeling good. So we'll hear hinging to the floor, lengthening out those hamstrings, checking in on those wrists. So the hinge stance is feet generally facing forward here. We take those hands, chop on the hip flexors, and we have a beautiful long spine and note. Also
known as weeding
the
pose.
weed hinge, you got it. So keeping the shins vertical, lift your bum a hair to feel that load on the hamstrings, then press your feet into the ground and extend the hips to tall. Let's repeat again, chopping the hips. We have a nice long spine here, chin probably slightly tucked for most of us here. And then let's break some of those rules, encourage knees over toes, hands down, and assemble in a comfortable all fours position here. Check in on those wrists as always. So we have wide open fingertips, hands are screwed in with those elbow pits facing forward, shoulder blades are pulled down. At the shoulders, let's gently elevate or shrug as I don't know, and then pull them down towards the hips, those blades. Repeat one more. Elevate the shoulders, little I don't know, and then with strength, pull those armpits and shoulder blades to the hips. Now retract those shoulder blades, lightly squeezing a pencil between them, and then from the armpit place, push into the floor, and without rounding the back, protract the shoulder. That's a tough one. One or two more. Add that retraction, and then from the armpit place, press forward. Get to a comfortable position for you. Flick that floor away, extending those hips. We'll quickly revisit those with an all fours movement later, but for now, let's continue to work on our lunge. One leg's out in front, nice and control. Do your John Travolta, your little tuck of those hips to find our nice level position. From here, squeeze, meaning extend that back butt cheek. Cramp it up. Press down on that front leg. Hold that tension for 5, 4. Can you squeeze more here and feel that scissoring action of the hips? Relax. Take that same leg to the side now, and we'll repeat that same preloading tension. If our hips are hiked and we're all twisted, let's square up, level the best we can, squeeze this back butt cheek, extending that hip forward, and then pull down and then in without moving yet. Hopefully those adductor groins could say, oh, that's some work. Oh. And then we'll relax and then bring that back to the front, bring it underneath, and then same thing on the other side. Check the hip hike, bring those hips underneath, and cramp that back leg and the hips to extend. For 10 seconds here, continue to squeeze that back leg forward, press down on the front leg, and think that scissor cue in. The femur on the front is slurping up into the hip, and we're pressing that back hip through. Coast the tension away. Lateral movement through that leg with a little foot walk there. And then same thing, same effort here as we extend this back hip, push down. I don't have as much power to push down on this leg. What does that feel like for you? And as we adductor pull, the back hip is extending. We'll coast, we'll bring it to the front, and then from there, underneath. Let's return to all fours, Lauren, and cue us through that awesome hip circle of yours.
But before you return to all fours, stay watching. I'm going to give you a fast motion version of what we're about to do. From here, we're going to put that $1 million bill behind our knee. Or reach for the ceiling. Don't arch our low back. Slowly bring the knee all the way around towards the elbow, the chest, and land it underneath. And then we'll reverse the direction, pulling it up towards the chest, lifting it to the side, and reaching all the way around to the back to complete a nice circle.
I'm not sure if Lauren saw it on the Instagram feed today, but one of our aspirational accounts, Move You, check them out, was commenting on this very same move. And Lauren's low back shape here, stay strong in those hips.
Stay strong.
That was their theme, stay strong in the core. All right, Lauren, here we go.
Hands under shoulders, bend one knee without even lifting it off the floor, heel towards the bum. With the core brace and the hips staying square to the floor, slowly lift that knee and then start kicking towards the ceiling. Once you've done this hip extension, square up again those hips to the floor. Hold it for a second. And then we're going to start the rotation. So that knee is going to come towards the side like the hip hydrant. Stay long between your rib cage and your hip as the knee comes around towards the elbow and then underneath the body towards the chest. Let's pause here in that hip flexion. Your tailbone's long, knee is pulling to chest. Brush center for a second. Keep the knee bent and reverse the direction. Knee comes towards chest, tailbone stays long. Leg lifts out to the side, staying square to the floor. Keep the knee bent as you draw the knee around that back corner circle, all the way around to hip extension. Hold, rebrace your core, and then pull that knee or hip back underneath you and let it rest. Push the floor away, shake it off. Spin around if you want to be like us, or just stay where you are. Same thing, other side. Take the knee, bend it without even leaving the floor. Then from here, core brace, slowly kick the ceiling. As you do that hip extension, stay square to the floor. Hold for a second, feel the glute, and then start opening the leg to the side. Reaching long out of the hip as you come around the hydrant. Again, keeping space between the rib and the high hip as the knee comes towards the elbow, and then towards that chest and hip flexion, tailbone's long. Hold for a second. Quads end up coming back to parallel. We'll reverse it. Knee is still bent. Tailbone long, hip flexion, knee towards chest. Then lifting the leg to the side, staying square to the floor. Ankle's going to lift, knee's going to draw that half circle around to the back. Through your hip extension, square to the floor, hold. Keep the knee bent, and then pull under, returning it down. Nice. We're going to stand up, so we'll use our hinge again. With our tailbone nice and long. Radian, we're standing, yeah. Tailbone nice and long, toes tucked. Let's lift our hips towards the ceiling. Oh, yeah. Now from here, keep the tailbone long and slowly press the heels down, extending the knees. Breathe. Take a second. Let's rebend the knees. Tilt the tail again to the ceiling. Keep that position as you try to straighten. Take another breath. Maybe you've taken a couple. And then slowly bend your knees, walk your hands towards your feet. Load up those hammies and press through to tall.
Awesome. In a second, we'll grab that balance aid and continue to work on that figure 4 shape through the hips. Lauren commented as we were doing that all fours version to minimize how much that hip and shoulder want to help the leg. Instead, the joint capsule in the hip to move the hip. We'll check that out as we go forward here. First, we'll talk to the core to help stabilize and bring strength. For this movement, I like opening my stance, that sumo position. And then again, engage those arms and hands on the body. Feel those abs work here. Low effort first, let gravity do most of the work here as we'll gently tuck a chin and then flex forward. Nice and easy. Oh, I almost didn't say it, Lauren.
Don't worry.
Okay.
You didn't.
Then take that sternum and fasten it to your hips. Keep the sternum down and then lift the rib cage, but keep the sternum down. 3, 2, relax in a tall or centered position. I hope that felt like that shield or abs was engaged on the front, and then that extension, T-spine length coming through that rib cage. Let's do that twice more. Easy does it in the sense of flexing forward, and then when you're at your safe bottom, activate by connecting the sternum to the top of the hips. Then the face leads last, the heart is lifting, but the sternum is staying down for 3, 2, and then relax in center. Final effort here, sternum connects to hips, and then we'll lift the rib cage. Lauren's gently started to flex already, so let's follow along as we flex with gravity. Then squeeze your butt, pull, connecting the sternum to the top of the hip, and then imagine lifting up through the rib cage and breathe. Let's work for 5 more seconds here, minimizing the efforts of the head and neck, and then coasting back to meet in the middle. In that cat-cow exercise from yoga, highly recommend envisioning, fastening the sternum to the hips, and then looking to extend through the T-spine. Lauren, let's figure 4 those hips.
All right. We're going to get picky on these hips here. So again, with your balance aid at your side, you're tall on your inside leg, you'll bend that outside knee. I think this one's a little bit easier, so we're gonna start with this one. We're gonna pull through to hip flexion. Keeping the belt line level, and let's start the foot around the knee-ish height. From there, hips stay level, pry that leg open and hold. This hip is extending, this knee is sending back, this butt cheek's working, but so is this one. Pull the leg back through center. Maybe you can lift the foot a little higher. Hold it. Send the leg to the side again, pressing the hips forward, holding, standing tall. One more time. Pull the leg to close. Maybe find a little lift, and then, little lifters. And then open up to the side and hold. Tall on the inside leg. Lifting to the side. 3, 2, return the leg to center. Keep the knee bent, brush the quads to parallel, and then straighten out.
I thought we had easier versions on the menu, but I will fully embrace this version here.
All right, same thing other side. Bend the knee. Pull the knee through to hip flexion. Again, you know now that we have 2 more lifts here, so start with that foot at the knee height, hips level. Send the leg to the side, hips pushing forward. Feel that glute that pulled the leg side. Hold 3, 2, bring it back to the front. Find a little more compression in that hip, bringing the foot up. Repeat. Leg side again, hips forward. Hold. 3, 2, 1 last time. Front. Lift a little more. Send the leg to your safe side, but you're staying square forward. For 4, 3, 2, back to center. Lift it a little bit and then brush it back, keeping that knee bent, and then gently extend to straight. Nice. I feel like my knee is so side.
It is, it's pretty good.
It's pretty good.
It's pretty good. And again, we would rather have that knee to the side with those hips level in a lower position than, say, turning to that new corner. From here, we have our core, again, set up in that wide stance. This time we'll let gravity do most of the work as we flex laterally or side to side. And then as we pull down on the shortened side to lengthen out towards center the other way. Ready to go, Lauren? Mm-hmm. Hand, belly, hand, chest, or just straight up across the body here. Nice and slow. Flex. Let gravity do most of the work, keeping the ribs over the hips. Then, between our 2 panes of glass, we'll pull the bottom rib to the top of the hip here, feel preloaded tension, and then pull towards center and relax. Same thing other side. When we pull back to center, we might pull 1 degree past. Preload. Pull the rib cage down to the hips. Feel tension before you move. Hold tension in the middle, and then relax. Same thing again, other side. Laterally flexing here between 2 panes of glass, staying nice and square. Feel tension before you move. Feel that load down there to bring things back center and relax. And then same effort, slow side bend, preload, feel that tension down to the hips and the core, and then return the shoulders to square over top of those hips. Building that strength through the core will help, again, to isolate the movements that Lauren is sharing here in the hips.
All right, we're about to do the fancy move. I want you to watch first. We're going to go bent knee, reach back, spin the femur in the socket, sending the knee to the side. This is where it gets tricky. Then we disconnect, internally rotate the femur, and meet the legs back together. As you do this, I want you to think of this part of your body or your pelvis as a bowl of punch. Don't spill a drop. I'd rather smaller movements than drops be spilled. Bend your knee, kicking your bottom. Reach back and then rotate it open, sending the knee to the side, and the foot connects around the knee calf area. Hold. Bowl of punch stays level. Disconnect your foot. Send the leg in or internally rotate, lifting the ankle, and then bring the quads back to parallel. Let's do that 2 more times. We reach back a little bit first, and then we open up, sending the knee side, foot connects with calf knee. Hold for a second, disconnect, ankle lifts, leg internally rotates, meet back together. One last time, reaching back a little bit, keeping that knee bent, foot finds knee level, hold knee side, disconnect, internally rotating, and then bring the legs parallel, keeping that knee bent for a second longer, and then straighten out. Nice. So as we're doing that, we really want to imagine the femur in the socket rotating versus the sockets themselves rotating. All right, same thing, second side. Bend that outside knee. Reach it back just a little bit, and then rotate it in the socket, open knee side, foot finds knee level. Hold, 3, 2, disconnect, internally rotate, reconnect knees together, quads stay parallel. Bend the knee again. Hold, reach back, rotate, open. Hips are still facing forward and level. Find that position, then disconnect, internally rotate that inseams down, and then connect the inseams together. One last time, bend the knee, reach it back a bit, rotate it open. Knee comes to the side, foot connects underneath you, hold, then disconnect, internally rotate, hiding those inseams, reconnect the legs together, and straighten the knee out. Nice. I like it.
I do too. I do too. Those hips, they should be singing, at least politely singing to us at this point. We'll keep our balance aids here off to the side and working on some nice lift-offs laterally. So let's go back to our bars here. Hand on the bar, feet in parallel. Take a single foot of yours to the front in that tendu shape from ballet, and then turn the inseam up, and then gently turn it down. And then for one more time, turn it up, and then reach it to the side. Same thing, let's roll in, that inseam goes down towards the floor, and then rotate up, that it shines itself towards forward. And then one more time, roll in, and pull those legs together. Excellent. Just repeat that same effort on the other side here. So with that balance aid to the side, a single leg to the front, and then rotate that femur bone in the socket, inseam up, and then inseam down. On the inseam down, keep that other hip in the back pressing forward. Turn it up one more time, and then reach it to the side. Gently turn down, hips level, stiff knees, turn up so that inseam faces forward, and for one more time, turn down, and then pull in. In that external rotation, we're often going to be able to lift up higher than, say, in the internal rotation. We'll do both versions of this drill today. Check in, keep those hips level, returning to the leg lifts in just a second. Hinging and then planking here, Lauren, first.
All right. Oh. Let's see if those hamstrings have loosened up a little bit as we push those hips back into that hinge position. From here, we'll slowly tip forward and walk ourselves out to a plank. Hands are under shoulders, toes are tucked, hips lift up. Then tuck them under, drop the butt so it's in line with the shoulders and not too low, and start pulling the floor together underneath you. Brace your core, squeeze your butts, pull your kneecaps up. I could come through, you wouldn't move, and I could punch you in the stomach and it wouldn't hurt. For 4, 3, 2, tilt the tailbone long, lifting the hips towards the ceilings. Add a bend to the knees as you walk your hands back. Push down and out to unhinge yourself to tall. Whew.
Planks for core stability, and these leg lift-offs for that improved hip mobility. So with the bar to your side, take a single leg to the front, opening up that hip socket as we reach to the side. Keep that inseam to the front, and with control, slowly start to preload by stiffening the leg, and then perhaps lift off. We'll hold this here for 5, 4, 3, 2, and with control, touch the floor. Now let's turn that inseam in, so an internal hip rotation here, and same efforts to preload, meaning stiffen those legs, and then gently lift off the floor, degrees at a time, centimeters at a time here. We'll hold for 3, 2, tap down. Which was the hardest for you?
The first one.
Then do that. I'm gonna keep my leg here in internal rotation, find out the one that's hardest for you, and let's do it one last time. Preload by stiffing the knee, and nice and stiff on the legs. Hold for tension and control. We're gonna do this for 4 more seconds here. For 3, 2, tap down and pull the legs together, growing tall, returning the feet underneath. Add that shake and wiggle. We'll switch sides and repeat the same effort. Tall on that inside leg, point to the front in an external rotation or inseam up. Inseam up helps us carry that leg to the side, and then slowly preload, meaning stiffen the legs, pretend to lift first, and then in that external rotation, hold for 5, 4, 3, tap down. Then we'll roll in on that hip, staying as square as we can, preload first, pretend first. Then stiffen up, vision it lifting away from the floor, and for 5 more seconds, hold with control. Tap down. I'll be staying here on that internal rotation. Which version was hardest for you? Let's do that one more time. Preload, point energy out of those toes, and with your balance aid at your side, lift for 5 more seconds. 4, straighten those knees, point those toes, tap down, and grow tall by pulling underneath. One more time in that plank today.
Oh,
let's
good.
hinge to the floor, finish with the core, and then the rest of the day is yours. So hinging, pressing those hips back, have the hamstrings suppled up a little bit, or are they saying, hey, stop doing that? Listen to your body, walk out to that high plank, and for one last time, plank it up. Hiya! That thread of Lauren jumping through the screen is always there, pulling the floor together, squeezing your butt cheeks, bracing your core, and always breathing. Continue for 5, 4, 3. Place the knees to the floor. Take some time off those hands. Had a friendly little shake. And celebrate being done. But you're done this. You have whatever else you're getting up to today. Bike rides around the neighborhood, time in the garden, or the porch. Maybe I'm just recounting or reciting our weekends. We hope that you find strength in this to help you do what you want to do in that. Let us know what that is if you want to.
Life.
You got it.
Thanks for joining us today. New week, new classes. Well, not new classes, same, but different next week, and we hope you'll join us then. Thanks for joining today. Comments, questions, always let us know. We love hearing from you. Until next time, stay strong, take care.
And we'll train soon. Goodbye.
Great hip pillows.